Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John and Jenna with Flippin' Ain't Easy. Glad to see you guys, and busy week this week. Hopefully yours was as busy, but I'm sort of in just a scramble mode to try to get as much stuff listed as I can, get as much value as I can into the store. I think that's the most important thing for me. The more money I get into the store, the more money I get out of the store when it sells. So that's been the focus, working a little extra. And of course, being that we're going to be going to families, well, there's the mailman. The FedEx person's already come today, so we don't have to have one disruption. So going to family in California, and so because of that, we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and probably Sunday shot too, even if we come home early on Sunday. 4 days that are just gone. So I'm going to have to, make some listings, get those listings up. And that's just the way I roll. I don't like having anything even more than a day where I don't have anything listed. So it's just knowing that by now you probably should have as much as you can listed. I realize that this is going to be a pretty big weekend too. And I'm also wondering, with all the Black Friday sales that are going on, Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy, you name it, and other websites, of course. Wondering how that will all those sales will impact our sales on eBay. And don't know if you guys are doing any sales for your stores. I know we are. We have a standard 10% discount. I think we've bumped it to like 20%, which isn't a whole lot, but it's a deeper discount than we're used to giving in our stores. So, I mean, it's a good idea to kind of get on that bandwagon. But, of course, if you have unique items, there's really no need to go crazy with that. So the topic I really wanted to get started, to start the live off with at least, is, between this show and the eBay Power Hour podcast, we've been talking a lot about promoted listings to the point where it almost feels like if that's like the end all be all thing. And, if you're not promoting, or you're going to fail, and I think a lot of people are kind of maybe feeling that's kind of the takeaway, and that's not what I've been trying to say. I mean, there's some categories and some items that it just doesn't make sense to promote, at least now in its current state. With that said, I think there's a lot of folks that lose sight on the fact that there's so much more to getting your items ranked in a best match search, that I think even it almost feels like we're losing focus of that. And so I wanted to at least kind of talk about, the basics, getting back to the basics. I think it's very, very important. In fact, eBay thought enough of it, and I don't think it was on the US eBay channel, but the UK eBay channel on YouTube came out about a month and a half ago with a little video. I was kind of watching it today. And there are some changes from the last time I visited a couple of these things. Your title is very important. Your brand first. If it's a name brand, if it's a brand no one's ever going to search for, then why would you put it in your title? But have that first 4 keywords. Focus on that, because it's important to look at your title, kind of step back and say, okay, what would a buyer type in the search for this item, and focus on those keywords. The 80 characters, we talked about that. There's a study that came out last year. I think that was an Australian study, but it makes sense that 78 out of 80 characters is kind of the sweet spot. You get 80, great, in your title. And there's a study that showed that the majority of the sales were on the 78 or higher characters in the title. And of course, right now we're in the holiday season, so use seasonal words, that type of thing. Of course, don't use emojis. Don't use like wow, fire emoji in front of your title, and just craziness like that. I know it may seem to you like it'll get someone's attention, but the algorithm doesn't like it. Photos. I got a video I'm going to be making tonight, and it's going to be talking about how photos are even more important than they used to be, because the algorithm used to just look at the title, would just look at the title and would try to figure out what the buyer wants. Because that's what the algorithm does with these best match searches. It's trying to figure out, what does this buyer want? What are they trying to find? And it used to be that the title was the main way, or the main thing that the algorithm looked at to find the items, right? We're not talking about sorting the results, just finding what the buyer is looking for. And then now eBay is using more and more photos in that determination. And I think it's very important. And eBay's even come out and say, use at least five photos in your listing. So if you don't have at least five photos in your listing, well, that's coming from eBay, not me. That number was put out by them a couple months ago. So that's something that you probably should want to consider. Also, they put out a little statement that I thought was kind of interesting. They state, don't use stock photos for damaged items. So in eBay's eyes, it's okay to use stock photos in certain situations. And that's kind of refreshing to me, because it's going to continue to happen. And you know what? Like I said, with the example of a tent, I'm not going to set up a tent. I don't have one for sale, but I'm just using it as an example. I'm not going to set up a tent that's in a box just so I can take a couple photos. I'm not, but I want my buyer to see what I'm selling. So you have your price. I think a lot of people are stuck on the idea, I bought this for 10 to 15 at a yard sale, I'm going to have to at least get 50 for it. And they disregard the market, and they are more focused on what they have to get out of it rather than what the market's willing to pay. And if you're overpriced, that's why we're talking about, like promoted listings. Let's up our price and bump our promoted, and then, we'll be okay. But if you're overpricing your item, the buyer doesn't know you're promoting. The buyer knows that, especially right now in this economy, they know they want a deal. And that's what's important to the buyer. So focus on that. You got your item specifics. I know a lot of you guys don't like dealing with item specifics, but leaving them blank, and I've stopped using NA on anything a long time ago. NA doesn't apply. Doesn't apply only if it's the UPC, but anything other than that, I leave blank if I can't find an answer. But why can't I find an answer? Maybe it's such a unique item that, like, let's say a Google search, or even using Bard. Did you know that you can go to Bard AI, go in and upload a photo of the item that you are selling along with the title you're using, and ask it to give you the item specifics, or, like, give me the item specific for whatever, for this item. Maybe you can't figure it out. It'll give that information to you if it can find it. It'll help you determine what that is. Also, it does do a really good job of putting together an item description that is packed with keywords. Something for you to consider, because eBay is also looking at your item description. Keywords are important, whether they're in the item specifics, in your title, or your item description. You have 3 opportunities to get keywords in your listing. That's very important. Shipping. I almost lost the sale because of shipping. I had someone who offered me $20 for a dehumidifier. Now I had the thing up for like $60, $65 plus shipping. And they sent me an offer for 20. And I'm like, well, that's low. And before I could even get a counter back to them, they sent me a message saying, disregard, I didn't realize the shipping was so high. But I had replied back saying, look, 40 is the best I can go plus shipping. Let me know if you change your mind. And I did the counter. Just to wake up today and found that they took the offer of 40 plus shipping. And he said, I need this, I can't find what I'm looking for, so I need this one, and I'm willing to pay extra, but can you please get it out? And I'm like, extra? He's getting a good deal on this. And then I went to run the label, and I realized that when I listed this item in the app, it put the last shipping policy that I used, which is the Ground Advantage calculated rather than the FedEx. We're talking like a 28-pound dehumidifier. And I realized it was $56 he was being charged for shipping, and I only paid $20 something. So I replied back to him. I sent him a difference in, well, it wasn't quite the difference, but I gave him a pretty big adjustment as to what he would have paid had the proper shipping been in there. So that could have cost me certainly a sale. Buyers are looking at all this information. I know a lot of times we don't think buyers read, but many do. And they're looking at a lot of these things in our listings. And if you're just winging it, you're trying to, go through this. I'm going to list 100 items today. So I'm going to go and put my 2 photos in and put just the bare minimum title, forget item specifics, slap in my, just generic item description, and boom, I'm done. Well, I think that's a big, big mistake. That's just me. So I want to know what you guys think down below. I could probably talk about all this stuff for the next hour, which I'm not. But I just want to get the conversation started. And I'm going to come out with the video in the morning, probably drop it before the eBay Power Hour does at 8, just to kind of discuss the whole idea of eBay changing some of the ways that they use photos for search, that type of thing. So let's see who we have. Before we get started, though, let's see. We have Duncan VR. So awesome. Thank you, Duncan, from Australia. Says, I'm thinking about going into selling toilet seats just to compete with John for sales. What's on the menu today? Chinese food. That's awesome.
Oh,
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Really, I do, Duncan. The whole toilet seat thing, you know what? I'm not buying it unless I'm getting a good deal. And it's one of those things where once I get a good deal, I now know that I'm up against quite a bit of competition already. So I have to price it very competitively for me to sell some of these things. So I'm not finding a lot of things. I mean, I found, even, believe it or not, some of the things that I find that, how about a chicken coop opener? Now,
automatic.
Yeah, it's automatic. So it doesn't kill you.
So it's not just, me going out there and opening the chicken coop.
Yeah. So it doesn't shut. It doesn't choke your chicken. But I got some gates for your pets. I got some water heaters.
And choke your chicken.
Where is your mind?
Where are you going, man?
How about a tennis ball launcher? I mean, just things like that. Okay, that we find. And I was talking to Jenna today, watching videos. Watching tech and sports videos. That man, I got to see, there's a load of knowledge. I thought he was just into men's clothing, but that man knows a lot about stuff. But it got me to thinking, here I am. We have this secondary account and we have it just like our clearance. What in the world? We have this secondary account. It's like our clearance store. I'm closing that at the end of the year. I am. I've decided. And I have another account and that I've set up many years ago. I had it named. I have some feedback on there, and I'm going to start niching out in that account. Now, I'm going to start sourcing and looking for things that are sports related, whether it's apparel, actual sporting goods, anything related to sports teams, the sporting itself, and putting it. And I have the name. It's called Sports Source. And beginning of the year, I'm going to start working on that. So I'm going to make a little change. And I'm going to see how that works. And I figure I enjoy sports, baseball cards, that kind of thing. I enjoy sports in general. So why not put together a store? You can find things at flea markets and yard sales, and even some liquidation things that you can find that would fit that bill. So I'm going to maybe take a little venture and just see if there's something there. Because I can tell you the secondary store we have doesn't make a whole lot of money as it is. And we're just going to bundle a lot of things and move on from it. You all right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. We got our buddy Mike Camparelli. He says, hi, John and Jenna in chat. Glad to make this live. And I will be missing Monday's show, taking a trip to the Dominican Republic.
Ooh.
I've been busy building up my draft bank so I can launch listings when I'm away. Well, you deserve
that.
Have fun.
Trip. You deserve that.
That is awesome. So glad to hear you getting away, and I'm glad to. That must mean you're feeling better, Mike. So awesome. I'm glad that you're able to
feeling better.
Yeah. Daniel Lesage from Baton Rouge says, happy weekend, everyone. Sales are still slow, but I had a small one today, and I had a positive business situation come through yesterday. My best to all. It's always
Very
good to have
good.
positive business situations. I love those. We're getting a lot of, it's weird, like we're getting double comments. I think StreamYard's trying to mess with me. Baubles, Blings, and Needful Things is good planning, Mike. Got to do those draft bank ads. Hope all is well for your trip. And I think it's important. You know, some will say it's not, but I am a firm believer based on just my own experience as a seller on this platform. When I take more than a day off of having some listings, it's like eBay punishes me. And I've seen other people.
See what's going to happen next week.
Well, we're going to have listings that are going to go up.
I know, but it's for some reason it still like puts a halt to our stores.
Well, it seems to know when we're gone.
Yes.
I think so. Let's hope. Look, in the past, the week of Thanksgiving and Black Friday has generally been pretty decent in sale. Well, not last year, but before that. So I guess we'll see.
And speaking of next week, we will not be going live on Friday.
Right.
So next Friday, we will not be here.
Well, a week from today. Monday we'll have the live. And did Mike say he was, he's going to be missing Monday's show. So, okay. But you're forgiven. We'll miss Friday's show, and then we'll see you on the following Monday. Stephen, SNS Bargain Barn says, good afternoon. Hope all are going well. You and your family have a nice Thanksgiving to all.
Thank you.
You
too. As well.
We shall. I was volunteered to cook the turkey. So turkeys, because I'm like, well, why don't we get a turkey for the smoker and one just a regular one for the oven for those who don't want the smoked turkey. So it's going to be good stuff. Mike Camparelli says, thanks, Lisa. And Lissa, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Baubles, Blings, and Needful Things says, happy Friday, FA peeps. Hope it's been a productive week for everyone and everyone is healthy. Hello, beautiful Jenna and Mr. John.
Lisa.
Awesome. Rhiannon's with us. How you doing today? Hey, all.
Hi,
Hope
Rhiannon.
everyone is having a great Friday.
Beautiful. I love it.
Have a great Friday. Guy Guru says, hey, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Aww.
And Lissa says, fingers.
Color new?
What color?
The color of the green.
Oh, you know what? It is. You know what that color is from?
Oh, it's from eBay.
I screwed up. So my bad.
I like it actually, but it doesn't matter.
We're changing it. We're going back. I'm not gonna.
Hey, we should put it with pink with the theme.
Well, we got blue going. That's what we usually use is blue. So we're playing the blue game. Dexterity with packing has been an adventure, but at least there were sales. We had pretty decent sales. I don't think our sales are killing it by any stretch of the imagination, but it's been consistent this week. So still dealing with this $3,000 7-day total. It's last Tuesday was 685 is our best day of the week. We have a bunch of $300 and $400 days, including today. So we'll see. We'll see how the weekend turns out. Tomorrow is probably going to be my last yard sale day of the year. And I only say that because I'm not going to be doing it next weekend, of course, the holiday weekend. And it looks like the number of yard sales are really taking a dive. So what I saw, it looks like there's about 30 advertised yard sales. So I don't know if that necessarily bodes well for December being the first yard sale after we get back from the holiday, because the weather just gets so cold out here in Vegas, and they come to a standstill. So that's going to be one less opportunity for us to get stuff. And this last weekend, even though Art of Resale, I was watching his video, put out a video of the neighborhood community yard sale that I was at. He happened to get there before me and hit all the yard sales before me and got a ton of really good stuff. And I'm like, no wonder why these yard sales look picked through. So it could have been even better. So I need to coordinate with him so I can make sure I'm on the other side of town when he's doing his yard sale stuff. Callie Deb says, hello, John and Jenna, Flippin' Fam. I hope you are doing well and that your sales have picked up. I mean, for me, I can't complain.
It's steady. So basically during the summer, we were killing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas years past, we were dead as a doorknob
Right.
in the summer. But right now, our sales make me feel like what summer should have been, where it was slower, still consistent, but slower. And so I feel like just right now is the time when people are buying all the wants, right? You know, whatever that category might be for you guys. But, you know, gifts and things that you want for decor around the house or things of that nature. But, you know, it is what it is. We're just rolling with it.
I think we're still selling at the same clip that we were in the summer as far as the stuff that I'm sourcing, you know, every day and throughout the week. But we don't have, and this is what the light came on during one of the Power Hour episodes, that's why my sales are down. And this should be obvious, but I just wasn't thinking about it. I don't have those acrylic cases anymore. I don't have those basketball and football cases, which were going like crazy. And we're really adding a good 15 to 20% to our sales. And I don't have that anymore. So naturally, I'm selling at the same clip without those cases. And let's see, we've got Ken, Noah Design. Can you talk about this automatic chicken choker? I need more intonation for research purposes. Let's asking for a friend. Oh boy. You guys tune in probably for my poor choice of words, right? So I know why Jenna was laughing. But eBay did away with its adult section a long time ago, so I can't help you there. But you could maybe check on Amazon, or if they have any handmade ones, you could check on Etsy. It's to hopefully help you out.
Just stop.
Henri Squaw says, howdy y'all, listening and listening. Flip It Good says, good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. Guide Guru says, anyone here try to offsite promotion beta? I haven't received any invite for that. I'm not surprised, but
Offsite promotion beta?
Offsite promo, like for your Google shopping and that. Maybe it's because I did the promoted listings advanced like a year and a half ago, and they moved on from me. Let's see. We have Guide Guru says, here's some more for the chicken choker fun. Thank you guys for the super chat. Do you guys know that you've already paid for 2 chicken chokers? So when I go to pay for these tomorrow, they're already paid for. So thank you. I think I have 3 in stock. So awesome. I'm going to list those over the weekend. I mean, they could malfunction and choke your chicken. I mean, that would be a hell of a return to take, right? You know,
yeah,
you choked my chicken.
They send you
This didn't work. You choked my chicken.
The neck of the chicken.
Jeez, guys.
Oh my God.
Duncan says my sales are on fire, even though all one-off items I still promote because it places ads in various places around eBay and brings me new buyers. I do 4%. So you found the number that works for you. I've always thought that you find a number over 2 and under their suggested and find what works for you. And that's something I'm still kind of trying to do. I've knocked my promoted down to 8. And I know, look, there's people out there that said, look, it's lazy to put, blanket all of your items at a certain percentage. For me, I'm not going to research every item in Terapeak. And you could do that. You can go into Terapeak and research. If I had like multi-quantity listings, but maybe for the chicken machines, I will. But it's not something I'm going to do for my entire store. I'm going to find a happy medium. Now on items that don't sell well, maybe it's time to go back and revisit those to see why they're not selling. You should always be on top of your account to try to find out what it is about that item it's not selling. Is it selling at all for anyone? And if it is, okay, it's time to figure out why your listing isn't selling. Maybe you need to promote it more. Or promoting it less, I don't think would have an impact in that situation. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing here with some of these items, trying to find that sweet spot with my store where I'm getting the consistent level of sales that I'm happy with. I'm not quite there, even though I'm not complaining about sales. 500 a day is my goal, and I'm just not getting there. So it's time to figure out, more maybe different items to sell, or why my existing items aren't selling as fast as I need them to. So not complaining, but at the same time, it could be better. We have Ping G. Says, hello, John, Jenna, and the chat. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Ping.
Nice to see you today. And I don't know what early tire is.
The doorbell.
Oh, yeah. Thankfully, haven't received any gifts from those people anymore, so that's good. Joe Samard. Good afternoon, all. Thanks for being here.
NorCal in the house.
Christine Moses says, any idea if eBay has secret shoppers? I had a very strange interaction after a sale.
It's very possible.
It's possible. They'll I think that they should. It makes sense, right? They want to see the level of where their sellers are at. If they experience some of the negative things that sellers, do, like the sell cereal box thing, or the lack of communication from a seller, the various things that sellers do that we cringe about as sellers, to me, they would see what buyers go through. I think they probably do. Oh boy, you guys and your super chats, I swear.
If you want a serious podcast, go to eBay Power Hour. This ain't it.
Well, we're going to here's a good thing about this. We have information that we do answer your questions. We do get serious, but at the same time, we're a community. We like being around each other. We like interacting with each other, and laughter is part of it. And Duncan says, why did the chicken cross the road, Jenna? It wanted to play squash with the cars. So Jenna's cooking KFC for Thanksgiving.
Nope, I'm not cooking anything, actually.
I'm like, why did I get volunteered for the turkeys, though?
Well, actually, I take that back. I'm making the mashed potatoes.
That's like hard.
It's so hard.
Yeah. But thank you for the super chat, Duncan. I appreciate it.
And the joke. That was really good.
Kelly, God. Surf Dude says, not a big issue, but there is a few second delays before we start hearing you when you first start. Okay. Oh. So I will remember that.
So, that's probably because you click the button and you.
No, I wait. I click the button and then it tells me that we're live, and then I start talking. So I figured
maybe you need to take like 20 seconds.
I don't know. Hopefully it's just a glitch or something. Urethra Franklin says, John, Jenna, doorbell chat, hello. Yeah, no more doorbell. Hopefully no more doorbells.
No, yeah.
I mean, there could be a random Yahoo coming to the door.
Well, we rarely get random Yahoos.
Guide Guru says, yeah, I plan on increasing my listing this weekend. Usually take weekends off. I think if you're going to work this weekend or any weekend, this is the weekend that you should do it, because like when we're done with this podcast, we're going to get something to eat and we're going to go to work. She's got things that she's doing. I got things that I'm doing, and probably just get it done 9:00 tonight, be done.
John's been killing it the last 2 days.
Yeah. He
has been waking up at, I don't know what hour, because I'm not up.
A little earlier.
But he's up before me. Well, that's an everyday occurrence, but he was already in go mode far before I ever even opened my eyes.
Yeah.
And then well into the night last night, I had to come in here and be like, it's time to come to bed.
Yeah. So I know what I'm buying. Actually, I know what I'm picking up every week. And I have to, part of my routine is getting in there and create drafts for the items I'm picking up. Now I can't put in, the condition. I have an idea from what I'm seeing visually, but until I get it and test it, I really don't know. My price isn't quite in stone. My weights and dimensions, of course, I have no idea what that is, but I can build the item description and item specifics and things like that. And that's kind of what I do. So when I get the stuff, it's already done. Boom. I'm just getting the basics and listing it. Let's see. Amazon Seller 99 says, hey guys, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Thank you for being here. Happy Friday to you. And we have David Pentland. I think he's from Scotland.
Yes, he is.
Hey folks, greetings. Thanks for being here. Jackie Bleckner says, good evening, John, Jenna, and everyone.
Hello.
Duncan says, during the Christmas break, I'm going in time away, and I plan just to list nonstop. I have a problem with all my better stuff selling out too fast. That's not a problem.
It's not a bad thing to have.
You know, it's good. Get your stuff. Now, if you are one that likes to list your stuff, your good stuff first, I think that can there's a good part to it, knowing that you're going to recoup what you put into that lot, right? By selling your good stuff first. But then when you get to the more undesirable stuff, as long as you have the motivation to get that stuff listed, then I would definitely just keep doing what you're doing. But some people, you know, get demotivated when all the good stuff is gone, and they're like, okay, that's where you start building a death pile and disregard that stuff. So trap that you want to avoid. Jerry Johnson says, hi, everyone. Thanks for being here, Jerry. Jeff Zenick says, hi, John and Jenna. Folks, it feels like the weather is finally changing.
Yes, it is. We got a little bit of rain the last couple days. But
I don't want it to change anymore. I want it to stay the way it is now. I don't want it to get colder. Just me.
Well, you want rain, don't you?
Not really. I'm good with it. Just cool weather is fine. Guy Guru says, is that true that the majority of sales use 78 characters in a title? I can't say the majority. I think it was the higher, maybe it was a bad choice of words. If you have like those that had, say, 50 words or less, or 50 characters or less, then under 60, under 70, blah, blah, blah. The 78 to 80 had the higher percentage of sales, if that makes sense. I don't have the exact number, but it was certainly eye-opening, and it does. The algorithm is considering not necessarily how many characters you're using, but it's considering the quality of the keywords. And I think it's a mistake to say, okay, what a lot of people do is they use 60 because that's what maybe the listing they piggybacked off of used. And they're not going in to maybe, let's do some research on this item. What are some key features of this item we can put in at the back end of this title? And I think a lot of people are missing out on that. That's a technique I sort of learned when I was drop shipping, that when you're developing and creating titles, you want to maximize your title and get good keywords that people might actually type in as part of their search. Maya says, hello, my takeaway from the promoted listing discussion is I take it as a cue to start sourcing differently so I don't have to race to the top on promoted. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I think that there certainly is a correlation between the type of stuff that you source and the need to use promoted listings. I'll be honest with you. A lot of the stuff that I have is just kind of middle of the road items. They're not bad, but they're not great either. And I look at my competition, and if I was to list those without using promoted, I think it would take a lot longer to sell. Would they sell eventually? Maybe. I think more for the price sensitive buyers who filter the search with lowest plus shipping might end up buying my items. But I'm looking for the quick churn. If I can take less for an item to get it sold, to move on to the next item and do that and compound, what I'm doing, then that's kind of what I'm interested in. And Noah Design says, hey, John and Jen, it looks like John stole your cap. Because, before we started, I was like, oh, look, we match. Josh Galt says, good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here, Josh. Long time no hear. We're going to be watching.
You were in stereo this morning. Well, you always are every morning.
Yeah.
Whenever you do your lives, we have you on this office, the shipping office, the garage, and my computer.
There's a reason for that. And the reason for that is we have them going at the same time so that I like to hear the conversation.
Yeah, we don't want to miss anything.
I can't miss Josh's show. So we have the conversation going on in here, but I have to go in the garage and do a few things, and it's still going. So it works good. Do that with Beard's program too. Yeah. So we get the conversation going.
Well, I just watch Scott when I'm putting my makeup on.
And smash that like button, please. Thank you. I'd appreciate that. Get your sale within the next 24 hours. Yeah. Don't know how it works, but it just does. In fact, it works so well that Larry Todd isn't here with us today. He's on vacation from all the sales he got from hitting the like button.
Wait, how do you know?
I haven't seen him yet. I don't see him.
You're probably
He would have said something by now. I just don't feel his presence today.
Yeah,
so.
you're right.
Maya says, I don't like eBay gives me a good value. Feel like eBay gives me a good value for my fees, so I don't want to keep paying them more.
Sadly, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that is left to be desired with eBay, but my opinion is for certain items and a very, very large majority of the items on eBay, if you're not promoting, your competitor is, and if both you and your competition are doing things right, who's eBay going to maybe side with as far as putting the item higher? And so I just think that's a big component, but you have to have everything else in place. Lisa says, I've always used all 80 characters to maximize hits possible, and at least 8 photos. Usually I have around 12 to 18. Purses are the most picks. Yeah, I can see purses being.
Yeah, or purses or anything that might have a blemish of some kind, and you really want to zone in on making sure the person, that's, a good representation of what they're going to get.
Yeah, like shoes, we picked up a bunch of shoes, pretty good ones actually. I got an offer. Hold on, guys. Taking a $50 offer.
He said, "Hold on,
I'm gonna take this offer.
I gotta get my
I'm gonna get my sale for hitting the like button
that you didn't do."
I can't.
I know.
So Tommy will probably tell you this. I know he's in the chat. That good. Get that out of here. At least a dozen photos. It's a weed whacker.
Oh my God!
We still, we still have some of those
between weed whackers, toilet seats, bed rails,
and chicken chokers.
Yeah.
But Tommy will tell you 10 to 12 photos is probably about standard for good shoe listings, and that's kind of where I'm at on that. Glenda says, hi, John and Jenna and all the FAE peeps. Thanks for being here, Glenda. Simple Beautiful says, hey, J&J, last week eBay took about 2 days to show a listing that was posted. You think there's something off over there? And yes, I checked from different places. It took 2 days. Thanks.
That's weird.
Now, one test that I would actually do is if you have a lot of competition, or let's say you get a lot of results, maybe you have an item that's somewhat unique, but eBay puts you in search results with other things that are somewhat similar. You can take your exact title, go to a different browser that's not signed in, and just boom, word for word, boom, see if it comes up. Because eBay will do this thing. Here's some other results not using the exact keywords. And if you're not getting your listing that's coming up there, that is a problem. And within usually 10 minutes of any time I list an item or do a sell similar, my items back up. So that's a problem. And if it's something that's happening consistently, it's something that maybe I know that some of us are against this, but to me, when you see a problem like that on your listings not showing up, you've done the test to prove that they're not happening. Well, every minute that goes on without your items being seen by a buyer is a minute your item's not getting sold. So you want to, I would say, reach out. If it's going on for about an hour or so, I would contact eBay.
If it's more than one listing, I would think that, if it's just one listing, then maybe it is just a fluke, but
because it could be a glitch. But it could be something with your store. Again, you guys know my story back in 2019 where they had none of my listings were showing. I was getting 0 views, no traffic, and they had to go and recatalog my items and do something in the back room, and it worked, whatever they did.
They use the chicken.
Meg says, hey, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Meg. Raised by a cup of coffee.
Where am I at?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Like, where are you looking at?
Sorry.
Guy Greer says, although AI has really helped me fill up those titles, AI does a good job. And, what I like about Bard AI, for instance, I can give it one command, say, give me an optimized title and item description for this item. Okay, please do not, and just say, please do not mention the condition of the item because it likes to see how good and shiny and new it is. So without mentioning the condition of the item, please generate an optimized item description and title for this item. And guess what? It will do that, and it'll give you 3 different variations. You can go and click on the 3 different variations to see which one you like the best, and then copy and paste it right into your item description. And boom, they paid. Okay, good. So that for me is what I do in a lot of cases, and it's usually packed with very, very good quality keywords that maybe you didn't think of coming up with, and maybe your buyer's thinking of. Maybe your buyer uses a certain keyword that changes your chances of showing up in search if you didn't have it somewhere in your listing. So something to consider there. It's a very good tool. Is it perfect? No. You need to check it just to do a quick read through to make sure there's maybe a line you need to take out. Yes. But for me, it's so much faster than typing it yourself, and it gives you a more complete listing. Big Dre, arson is suspected.
Well, I think his comments are.
Yeah, I'm sure there's somewhere arson suspected. But Big Dre also says, my storage unit facility caught fire yesterday. 20 units burned up. They say mine is okay, but I'm not allowed to see it yet.
Oh, that is a big bummer.
Now I'm wondering if yours is in there and your stuff is all burnt up. Does the storage unit cover you? Probably just cover you on your costs though, and not your potential resale value. And insurance, I can tell you from my experience, they don't want to pay. So they will, they'll ask for your photos. They'll ask for proof that you have or you had what you had in there before the fire happened.
Oh, that's
that's horrible. Sorry about that. Ken says, I understand, Jenna, how you feel. I'm the same way when John goes over his time limit with his monologue. So what is my time limit? I think that the
5
first
minutes. I mean, just lock it down.
But I want to establish a talking point for the
But
for
you
the
don't
audience.
need to ramble. I tell you this all the
I know.
time.
But it's when you get older.
When you just start, when he talks, seriously, if he goes longer than 5 minutes, I literally zone out and I don't hear another word he says.
Is that how it is?
It is.
Wow. I'm learning a lot about you today. Duncan VR says, can I list an item, one picture, and the title just says buy it? I wish.
Try it and see if it works.
Brett says, happy Friday from the Orange County, California.
Orange County.
And Beard says, what
Tell
about
Julie
a chicken
we said
sedan? Hello. A chicken sedan? What's a chicken sedan? That's bearded pokey tuber, by the way, not bearded picker.
Did you say bearded?
I think I did, but that's bearded pokey tuber. It says, what about a chicken sedan? What is a chicken sedan?
I think he's talking about the chicken choker, but I think it is in reference to, but I don't know what that means.
Biff Boffle says, bad week, yet I've surpassed my net profits from 2022 already. Why do things seem so bad? It's because I watched too much YouTube. You know what? I think there is something to that.
Yeah.
I think if you look at the time spent watching YouTube, I'm not talking about the time spent listening to it while you're working. I'm saying the time you just sit there and stop, like Jenna does, and watch YouTube, how much productivity you're losing.
You throw me under the bus one more time.
The bus was already here, honey.
You're going to sleep in the garage.
That doesn't happen, guys. Rand says, oh no, Big Dre, I hope things turn out for the best.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
And then Josh agrees.
But the smoke of it can get into, depending on those storage units, the smell of smoke.
Yeah, it can
really ruin your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine? Everything looks fine, but it just smells like smoke. You sell it, and someone wants to complain about that. Josh Galt says, tech is a beast. I got to say, look, I thought I have gained a lot more respect for that man. That guy, I mean, he's walking around Disneyland just like throwing out stuff. It's like pretty amazing. I know I probably couldn't do anything anywhere close to that, but what it does is it fires me up to want to improve and get better. So those are the kind of videos, those are the type of bolos that I will watch because I'm actually really learning something and not just going, wow, there's a one-off I'll never find.
You gotta read Liz's.
6:12 on the East Coast on a Friday, and we're already talking about choking chickens. Thomas as well. I just realized Jenna runs the Adam and Eve website.
These were the comments I was laughing
at. John, I think you're in the wrong chat room. Oh, wow. And then Josh bought a great collection of 1991 baseball cards. I saw that today on your live. For me, anything that's pre-2000 is way saturated. I remember that as a kid, thinking, wow, 1991 Score. Bought a box of 1991 Score as a kid in high school. And it's like, wow, it's no value there. Let's see. Jovial says it's Friday for sure. John talking about choking chickens and pitching tents. Wow. Oh, wow. I didn't talk about, well, I guess
yes,
I talked about how I did not want to pitch a tent. Remember that. I wanted to keep it in the box. Guy Guru says, I actually been selling a few golf clubs, which is strange for this time of year. During spring, they weren't moving at all. Go figure. Mm-hmm. We just sold a set. I picked up a set of Titleist. I think they're CM 735s or whatever. These are like, at least, they might even be vintage. If we're kind of looking back, they might be 15, maybe 20 years old. There are these, for those of you who don't sell golf clubs, there's different types like blades versus game improvement. And the blades are for your more serious golfer.
Blades are for whacking the grass.
I think there are blades, and they were pretty badly banged up, right? And they had the white grips on them from Golf Pride. They looked pretty good there. One didn't have a grip at all, just needed to be gripped. And the whole set went to the yard sale. The guy's like, well, what do you want for your clubs? I mean, I really was just kind of interested, but not all that interested. He said $10. I said, okay, sold. Because I know I can sell them any time of year. I listed them for 119 plus shipping, and a guy offered me 75. Took it. And even though I knew that I could hold out and get more if I just waited, for me, it was a great deal.
We're not in the business of keeping storage.
Not opening a museum anytime soon. Jerry Johnson says, Jenna, do you get the giggles and then it doesn't stop at all? Love to see and hear you laughing.
It does. Yeah. And then like if somebody else is laughing, I can't control myself.
That was happening to me last night.
Last night, he was watching a video.
I was watching a video. It's one of those, okay, when you go on to the Instagram, it knows what you like, right?
They're the reels.
Yeah, the reels.
Yeah.
And there's this video, and it says, you're going to go to hell if you laugh at this, right?
Oh, he's going to hell.
It's a video where they went to go rescue this old lady in a canyon, and the helicopter picked her up, right? And all of a sudden, she starts spinning slowly, and she's going like 100 miles an hour spinning, and I'm just dying. Now, it's horrible, right? But she lived. The lady lived. She got $400,000 out of it.
It took her 5 days to recover just from the spinning of the helicopter cot.
And then the next video that came up, it was even worse. It was this old lady trying to get up an escalator, and she had a walker, and somehow it started taking her up the handrail side that was going up, and she did her husband came over to try to help her. They both did like a somersault down the. Oh, yeah, she was mad at me because I was laughing.
Granny panties were all for everyone to see. It was terrible.
She was mad at me because I was laughing, but I was feeling punchy at the time.
He was really punchy because he was so tired. He had been up since God knows what time yesterday, and he was so tired. That's all he kept saying. I'm so tired.
I was tired.
And he's watching these videos, and then he goes into the cry laugh, and I'm like, you need to go to bed, like right now.
Yeah, I'll get that way for sure. I've always been that way. Duncan VR says, I recommend niching into collectibles in your second store. Hint, I sometimes buy collectibles on eBay UK to get them sent to me, then resell them to someone overseas in my store. But see, here's the thing. Collectibles
is a big beast.
I sold collectibles last summer, not this summer, but summer before last, on my other account because it kind of fell in my lap. I had to learn it. And I don't necessarily want to get into collectibles. I think I could do well with baseball cards, but then again, it's a very saturated market anyway. I just want things that I'm very familiar with, things that have value. I'm not just going to buy random stuff because I'm a sporting focused store. That's just what it's going to be. I just want to make sure it has value, no matter what it is that I'm choosing to sell. That is going to be the requirement. It's not going to be like the secondary store we have now, where we just throw anything in there and, you know. So the goal is to make it a profitable store like the main store that I have here. Tommy says, I think niching sucks. Don't do it. I think you do a great job at it, actually. One of the inspirations why I think I want to give it a try, but it's the sourcing. So for me, if I narrow down what I'm niching, I'm going to have a hard time. So if I just say, look, men and women's tennis shoes, I'm going to have a hard time succeeding there. But if I keep it like a wide, like Josh was saying, you know, you, John, you and Beard niche down to like 9 or 10 items, different types of items. I don't think so. I think it may seem that way, but we sell at least 20 to 30
because there's some
kinds.
things we just don't, we don't talk about it because it's not fun and exciting.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't lead to a joke.
Yeah.
You know, there's other things in the store that are more just everyday items for around the house that we sell. We sell probably at least 20 categories or more. I mean, we
sell a lot.
Of different things.
Victor
lot of different crap.
Says, please repeat the AI that you mentioned. Was it Bar AI? It's Bard. B-A-R-D.
B-A-R-D.
Bard AI.
D as in David.
You just sign in with your Google account and your email address. It doesn't cost anything. And to me, it remembers conversations. So you can go back to a previous conversation and continue where you left off, that type of thing.
Biff said, stay out of collectibles. People don't need them.
Let's see. Maya says, well, if you have to change your handling time, that's probably why your sales slow down. I think the algorithm prioritizes people with shorter handling, with a buyer experience, whatever that is. Yeah. I think the algorithm looks at locality. How far are you from the potential buyer who's typed in that search? I think it does take that into account, but I also believe, and I'm very certain, that it takes into account your handling time, because it wants to know, based on how far you are away, the projected amount of time it's going to get to the buyer, because it already does that when you're buying labels in the, eBay's labels, where you're considering what service to use. It's giving a range of dates it's going to arrive to the buyer. And so it's using that data to determine if this item is a best fit for this particular buyer. And if there's too many days there, that's one negative that you have to deal with. So I think handling time, it makes it more convenient for you, but I think it's best to try to get as close to same day as you can. But for some people, they can't do it. I have same day 9 a.m. cutoff. That's it. After 9 a.m., any more orders. Now, I did get a sale today about 10 a.m. The guy's like, can you please send it out today? And I said, you know what? I'll stop what I'm doing. I'll ship it out, because I want to give the buyer the best experience possible. And not every day do you get someone asking you to please get it to me as soon as possible. So I think that's part of the, Bearded Picker put out a video, pretty good video about, just the mentality of running a business.
You didn't watch it?
I did watch it.
Oh.
He was talking about something that he said, and I'm like, well, what did he say? Because he was saying a lot of things. So, but yeah. Getting back on my.
It was so sweet. He was talking about his wife and how he loved to spend time with her.
I love to spend time with my wife. You didn't know that?
Oh, that's a lie.
Oh, I do. Guy Guru says yard sales are dead in my neck of the woods. And see, that's just it. If you rely on yard sales, I mean, you have to, unless you're going to close shop for the season, you have to find ways to have inventory to list. I think that's important. Yeah. Urethra says, Tommy, that's taking foul play to a whole other level. Let's see. Tommy says maybe over 60 is considered choking the turkey. Under 60 is chicken. What's wrong with you people?
You opened up the gate and it just flows.
I'm going to skip a couple of these. Guy Guro says they gave me an invite and $100 credit. Going to give it a shot this weekend. That's for the advertising off of eBay.
$100.
$100. I'd use it. Why not?
Use
Use everything that eBay's willing to give you, but I wouldn't venture into putting a lot of your own money into that. So use it up, but unless it's really working well for you. But I wouldn't venture anything else other than that. Richard says, "Hi, Jenna and John.
Hello.
How you doing, Richard? Let's see. Thomas, I think Roman is already on the horn for wholesale chicken choking." Jacqueline B says, "Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here, Jacqueline." Maya says, "Can you guys pick up humidifiers? I mean, how many people are still in the market for dehumidifiers? I need the opposite of that. My furnace is on."
You would be surprised. We sell 1 or 2 dehumidifiers every day.
Even right now, we sold
every day.
We sold a GE one today, and actually we shipped 2 today. Shipped 2 today.
Yes.
It just, they're a pain in the butt.
They're
heavy.
A pain. I have to wrestle those things every day.
But I think we've sold at least 20 or 30 this year
or more.
Yeah.
I mean, they fly off the shelves.
Steven.
But she's asking about humidifiers.
We don't really get
humidifiers just because they're not readily available to us like the dehumidifiers.
Yeah. I don't I think anytime you get humidifiers, I'm not talking about dehumidifiers, but humidifiers, a lot of times when you get ones that are open box that maybe someone's tried out, they're nasty. I don't want to deal with those.
Yeah, we've probably 3 or 4 years ago, we've had some that we got in pallets, and they are absolutely disgusting. So unless it's brand new and sealed, we don't want it.
Stephen J says, or 78 says, "Get your bets in early on who in my family will have an attitude at Thanksgiving this year. My sister-in-law is the favorite, going off at 2-1 with my wife at 3-2.
Wow. Oh boy, I think
father-in-law is like, he's minus like 220 to be that guy.
Father-in-law?
Yeah, my father-in-law. Yes, yeah, my stepfather-in-law, or my stepfather-in-law. What the hell? I'm getting all screwed up here. Your dad.
My dad.
Yes. He's going to be that guy.
He doesn't even speak.
That's the problem. You speak to him and he doesn't say anything.
He can't give you an attitude if he's not speaking.
I consider that an attitude. When I go sit down and like try to create some small talk, and he's like just brushes me off or like gets up and leaves.
He is he's my stepdad, yes. But he's been my dad for a very long time. Anywho, my dad is so much of an introvert. He does not talk unless talked to.
When you talk to him.
And he only comes out of his shell if it's a conversation he finds interesting. So if you're not talking barbecue, stocks,
which I don't.
Woodworking,
computers,
which
I do. I know what he likes, but when I even try to go there, it's like, okay, this man doesn't like me. Move on.
It has nothing to do with
Jacqueline B says,
"What that to everybody.
What did I just come on into?" Well, something
welcome to the shit show.
You're gonna have to go back to that. Patricia says, "Does he have an automatic chicken plucker too? If I could find one that people are buying, I would definitely do it. I would not do it, but buy it. That's for sure.
Do it."
Let's see. No design for those who just tuned in. This is not FAE. It is John's OnlyFans. Yes. And if you guys are nice enough, I might take my hat off. That's about as far as I'll go. IMO, in my opinion, offsite ads are terrible. Been doing the beta since June at $100 per month. 8 sold, total costing $155 with $3.30 return on ad spend. That's why I'm saying if you're coming out of pocket at all, it better the first $100 they give you better be working before you consider putting your money in there. And that's why when they gave me $150 for the promoted listings advanced, I didn't think it was so hot. So I just, never did it again. Let's see. Vintage Vonnie says, "Hello, John and Jenna. Early evening to chat." Yes.
Yes. Welcome.
Guy Grew says, "I have always done same day. What I have experienced, the algorithm only cares about the label being printed as long as tracking picks up with 24 hours. I never had an issue with metrics or customers. And I think you're right on that. I know that I've had a couple where we just said, you know what, they didn't show up. I'll just put it out tomorrow. And I think on one of those I got a hit, and the other ones I didn't. Get off of the chicken choking jokes. Says Feli Pesilvasa says, I will promote
Felipe Silvasa.
Feli Pesilvasa.
Felipe.
Yeah, or Felipe Silva, USA.
Felipe Silva, USA.
Right. Spaces are important.
We're sorry.
I will promote.
Really are.
I will promote my list at 99%. No one will sell more than me. That's not true.
That's not true.
99. Not say I did 100%. Someone said recently that eBay has it now where you can only do 99. I mean, that's still BS.
It's still BS.
But that they shouldn't even have it that high, to be honest with you. But if you did 99%, you're going to be on the hook for. You might as well just take that and throw it in the trash can. I know you're joking here, but the idea that you're going to sell more. I had 2 items that didn't sell. They're on for like a day. But you think that someone would have bought it because eBay would have put it at the very top of search, and those items didn't go up to the top of search. So
nor do they sell.
Guy Guru says, "Yep, crunch time. I have plenty in my death pile to list." And then Patricia says, "I get an ad roll before it goes to John, and always use mid-model hug." Really?
Yeah, because she has ads on her YouTube.
I mean, that's what YouTube does. They're making money off of their videos.
Yeah,
and whether you're monetized or not, they're going to show that. Tommy says, that's how ads work with live streams. If you don't have premium, they show ads before entering. If you watch the replay, there'll be an ad like every 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's terrible.
To me, that's the best investment if you're watching YouTube every day, you got to get the premium. It's so much. You'll never go back.
Yeah, well, I have to deal with it.
Well, I think someone says something about a family plan or something. Maybe you got to look into that.
You need to look into that.
Henri Squaw says, "Oh, I could never have done that routine. I only wanted to touch the listing once if possible." Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it. It works for me because I know what I'm getting, so I can make a draft. I know that the title is going to be regardless of condition. The condition doesn't change the title, so I can get those things in place. So now I'm in here doing that when I don't have the product. So when I get the product, I'm out in the garage and I can do everything on my phone, and it just works. It works great for me. Belinda says, "Just join. How cute you both match." And we didn't even talk about it today either.
No, we didn't.
The Thrifty Loon is with us. Says, "I'm here, guys."
Hi.
Let's see. Kelly says, "Interesting, Tommy. I use ad blocker, but there must be a delay. Still, even with it blocking the ads. Thanks for explaining." Yeah. Ad blockers can be useful, that's for sure. Tommy, how do you figure competition? I sell sports hats and apparel, and I know there's a lot of competition in that field too.
You needed to see the one.
What did Tommy say?
No, Brett said right.
Okay.
You're going to
my regular eBay promotions at 3.1% has ROA of 32.26, which is nice.
Yeah, and
then Tommy says ROAS is skewed by promoted rate. Sadly, it doesn't have anything to do with sales velocity. It doesn't have anything to do with sales velocity, but to me, the higher that ROAS number at your promoted rate, if you fine tune whatever you're promoting at, I mean, it is basically telling you the bang for the buck that you're getting. If you were to up it to 5.1%, you're going to see that ROAS usually go down. Because you're spending more on the ads for the same level of sales. Because again, buyers don't care if you're promoting or not. Now, eBay does, and eBay is liable to put your item higher in search. But it's kind of a give and take, right? I just think that there's so many other things that you could be doing than trying to chase the promoted rate. I'm looking for a lower rate that's going to maximize my ROAS. I don't know. That's just the way I think. I'm not jacking up my price to offset a higher promoted rate. That's just not what I'm doing. Bearded Picker says, "Old guys should never sit in a recliner." Okay, I am awake now.
Hey, you better get awake. You got a live to do,
You got a live
sir.
to do. You've got a live to do, and
Yes, you
go
do.
check out Bearded Picker's channel. I believe he's having it at 5 p.m. Central. Actually, no,
Is it
5 p.m.
5? I
no,
thought it was
5
6.
p.m. Pacific, 7 Central,
Oh.
8 Eastern. So after we're done here.
Yeah. Jerry says, John, your sound gets louder, then gets quieter. Need to keep adjusting my speakers. I'm sorry, are we hurting your ears, Jerry?
What do we do? Do I get too close or am I too far away? Okay, I'll try to keep maybe it's my inflection. I need
Maybe
to just
when
be
he gets
monitoring.
excited, he begins to get louder.
Maya says, Tommy, do you have all of your items listed on Poshmark? I notice when I search for clothes, shoes on Google, I see a lot of Poshmark results. Maybe better than spending money on eBay, pay per click. And then Tommy says yes to that. So I think if you're selling clothing, shoes, accessories for clothing, I know they sell other things as well, but that's what Poshmark's really known for. I think if you're selling it on eBay, you should at least be getting it on Poshmark. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Josh says you both are the best. Thank you. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
No, you're the best, Josh.
Tommy says listing quality report tells where you rank in each category. So it tells me I'm 13 of 257,000 in women's pre-owned athletic shoes.
Wow, that's pretty dang good.
So the question, Tommy, is two questions. Are you satisfied with being 13th? Or if not, how are you going to improve that number? What things are you going to do in 2024 to crack the top 10? Curious on your strategy there. Maya says, oh, okay, I thought I would at least mention it since I was looking for some older Nike shoes on Google, and that's what I noticed about the ads. Yep, they do have, Poshmark does have a very strong presence on Google Shopping.
Yes.
Larry Todd is spending the weekend with his wife, so no YouTube. They went somewhere, I forget where.
Oh, very nice.
Awesome.
I hope they have
He'll
fun
hopefully watch the replay after she falls asleep. That's bad of me, isn't it?
That's terrible.
Okay.
Here, I'll smack him for you.
Eric says, would you ever recommend to delist your entire store and sell all? Yes, we do that all the time. We do delist and sell similar on all of them, if that's what you mean. But I've done that many times on both stores, and it with some success. It works fairly well. Now, I have to say, I haven't done that just to see. I haven't really done that over the last couple weeks. So
never mind.
On yours, but on the main account,
in order for us to get any sales on my account, he has to do it.
Yeah. So as far as, well, I think also on that store, it's getting just constant sales. But like it's been a couple weeks since I've actually done the end item sell similar, and now that you mentioned it, I need to probably do that on Monday. I think I don't want. No, it won't take a whole lot of time.
Lord, don't do it over the weekend.
Not gonna do it over the weekend. Probably do it on Monday.
Last Monday, I thought I was gonna die.
No one designed chicken choker, weed whacker, same difference. Shally Online says, hi, John and Jenna, FAA family. Better late than never.
Hello.
Well, thank you for dropping in. I love seeing new faces. And I know there's a number of folks watching right now that have never dropped in to say hi. At some point, I would love to see new faces and take a moment to, at least say hi. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
The Comic Miner says there's a guy who sells graded comics who uses gorgeous gem wow in every listing he can.
Wow.
And I've made him into an inside joke with a few of my regulars. He's been a good time for us. That gorgeous gem wow,
it's not going to sell your item.
Well, it's the other words that's going to sell the item. I don't see how that, unless it pertains to the item, is going to make a difference. I think there's other keywords that this seller could be using that's going to be more effective.
That person, that seller seems to think that gives him a leg up.
I mean, anyone here think that, you have your title and you have some characters left over and you put don't look and like with an arrow, if that's effective, telling people not to look at your listing.
Only you would think of something
like
that.
But that is a thing that kind of has worked if like a clicky title, don't look. I don't know. I've seen it work, but I don't think it would work at all for eBay. But that would be just as effective as far as I'm concerned than putting gorgeous gem wow. Maya says, yeah, the lack of photos on the shoes made me just not want to buy. When I list shoes, I end up with 10 plus photos. usually showing all sides, bottoms, insides, and tag. So I'll show kind of an angle of the two together, the fronts of two, then the reverse angle, and then the rear view, and then we have the soles for both shoes, like them like leaning on top of each other, and then each individual shoe, the tag inside the shoe, and maybe any features of the shoe, like zooms of like the logos or any blemishes or things like that. That's kind of what we do. Hill Valley Vintage says, New York Giants fan checking in after another miserable week. Thanks for beating the Jets. That made me feel better. Well, it's I don't take any credit for it, but it's certainly really cool to see a team you follow. You think their season's over with and they get their act together, but they're running up against a bunch of good teams coming up, so that may not last. Richard says, how long do you give a non-payer before canceling the order? 4 days.
That fourth seems to be a question that keeps coming up in a lot of people's lives.
Well, I noticed lately there's been I've seen a couple items where there's no one paying for it. So you send an offer to Watcher, they accept it, but they don't pay. And that wasn't happening over the summer. I don't think I had anything like that happen, but it's happening. I don't know. Maybe they're having a problem with their credit card. I know that they're not requiring, at least I don't believe they're requiring offers to Watcher buyers to pay automatically once they accept it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be happening. I know that's something that they were supposed to be working on.
I know that I get, and before I was having to wait for payment on a lot of items, and now they pay nearly instantly.
So Tommy says, I only photographed one shoe and both soles and any flaws of present. So are we looking at an average of 5 photos? That's what eBay is saying now.
I think he says later in another post, he says 9.
Okay, that's good. Simple Beautiful. When the listing did not show up, it was when everyone complaining about slow sales last week. Yes, I use exact title, but it says it was listed on my seller hub, but in open eBay, it was not there for 2 days. So you can look up your own inventory when you pull up your active listings and then go into search.
I think that's what they're saying.
No, I'm saying that's what you did there. But when that happens, I'm curious if you go into another browser where you're not signed in, eBay looks at you as a prospective buyer, and you go in with that exact title, put it in that search and see if it comes up. And if it doesn't, I would say if it's still not showing up an hour after you've listed it, it's time to get some eyes on it. At least have eBay send it to the back room, whatever that means. But it's, that's out of your control. eBay has some control in that. If there's a problem, maybe they can fix it.
Yeah.
Josh says storage units have a mandatory $5,000 insurance on the unit, but you need to provide receipts.
Oh.
So that's just it, right? What kind of receipts? Let's say you go to flea markets and swap meets or and yard sales. What receipts are you going to have there?
That's a bummer.
What that maybe you just buy large lots of stuff and store it. How are you going to prove to an insurance company who doesn't want to pay you? How are you going to prove that you had that inventory? That one's going to be tough.
Dang.
No One Design says, I see you're storing shoes on them shelves. Make sure to plastic wrap it in the summertime. Well, what you're seeing, you're seeing like toys down here.
Those are toys.
As far as shoes that are wrapped.
Whoa, careful.
Okay, let it come down. They're wrapped. So we have our trusty little wrap thing, and they are wrapped. Okay. So, good tip, though. I think that's good information.
Thanks, Ken.
Let's see. Guide Guru likes my diatribes.
Well, Guide Guru is the only one.
Big Dre says, I have $5,000 insurance on the storage unit. That's maximum they offer at the storage facility. But I believe it's not potential resale value. That's actual cost, your cost of goods that they're looking at. Maya says, hopefully your stuff will be okay and also won't smell like a wildfire. I'd be worried about getting the smells out. I think so. There's ways of doing it, but
there is, but it's exhausting. It's intense.
Jackie says, do you have a link to the AI you use? I'm hearing you say BART AI. It's BARD as in David, and then space AI.
Why don't you take the link?
Well,
Well,
it might give a link to it. It's not really a link.
Just go to Bard.
Okay, hold on. Because okay, here we go.
Here you go.
Hold on. I'm going to post it in chat, and then you can go there. Maybe I just introduced Bard AI to our chat. I don't know. Guy Guru says, yeah, best move Tech made was to do his own thing on YouTube.
Agreed. 1,000%.
Yeah, I think his channel is going, it has already blown up. I think it's going to just keep going. I think that's just a lot of good information. But the funny thing is he had a little interview, a little podcast episode with, I guess, one of the people in his program or whatever. And it just kind of echoes pretty much what I think a lot of videos out there, at least on my channel and other channels, have been saying for a long time. A lot of it's just getting back to the basics. If you watch that video, it's like, this is, and he'll tell you, look, I repeat myself a lot because there's nothing more to it than focusing on the basics. And I think a lot of people lose sight of that. They're in such a rush to get their items listed, and they're not focused on the quality of the listing. And I think for some that can hurt your success. Let's see. Bearded Picker says 1991 was so overproduced that they almost killed the market. Josh, I'll take some for 20 of those baseball cards. And then Guy Guru. Okay, Guy Guru put the URL.
Guess who's here?
Who's here? Am I not seeing them?
Grumpy Granny.
Yeah.
Hi.
We'll have to see your comment here in just a minute. Jovial Jenna, a whack in the grass. Jeez. Bearded Picker. Cavity back. You might find the ball in the woods. Blades. You will never find that ball without Sasquatch helping look. Yeah, the cavity back ones are for the average golfer who needs a little assistance and like forgiveness to hit the ball straight, that kind of thing. Yeah. Tommy says, does John choke his chicken before whacking the weed? Off the rails here. That's just horrible.
You're just joining. Sorry.
Urethra says, Alyssa, we dirty birds hear it all, don't we?
Yes.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
John, just FYI, John is not a prude. Okay.
I'm not a prude.
He has some disturbing comments all throughout the day. He'll just walk by my desk and say something off the rails.
Because she doesn't get offended that easily, so it's fine. I can do that. Here, I can't do it because there's a number of people that would be like, we're not watching this no more. Guy Guru says, I got a few Ken Griffey Jr. rookies ungraded. I need to list, but the market for those has really went down, I think. Yeah, they have gone down. Like, my Frank Thomas 1990 Leaf rookie in the, you guys don't see this a lot. It's in like the thick glass, not glass, but acrylic cases. Like,
your camera's going crazy on your...
Is it? Because I'm doing a little of this. But your acrylic cases that are like, you could slam that on the ground and it's not going to hurt the card. You don't see those anymore. Tommy says, I had one of those. A 300-pound mom jumped off a trampoline into a ball pit, into a gymnasium, took the whole city to get her out. I was dead from the looks of the people's face.
What?
Yeah, there's
had one of what?
There's some crazy things. I think Tommy even put an Instagram post, something about YouTubers or something like 6 months ago, where there's like someone like driving. They're in I think they were in like a China shop or something with a wheelchair.
Oh no! They were in a thrift store.
Yeah, with the wheelchair.
With the wheelchair.
And the wheelchair went nuts.
Yeah.
And like started running into everything. Yeah.
I saw that.
Stay out of collectibles. People don't need them. It's not a need. I don't need this. The Thrifty Loon says, I received an offer today, but ignored it because he has feedback that states to avoid this buyer as he pretends he doesn't receive items to get them for free.
Wow.
What?
Just decline it and block him.
I think it's, especially if you're dealing with borderline, should I take this offer?
If you have to even have that question in your mind, block them.
Well, do I take this offer? I will then look at the buyer, and if they're full of people who like to leave negatives for sellers, well, you know what, chances are your standards are a little higher than, you know, my normal buyer. It's not that I have a problem with my item. It's that some people will always see a problem with either it got here too late, they weren't happy with the box, you know, or whatever it is. And I just prefer not to have the chance dealing with that kind of person. Landshark Picker says, good evening. Thanks for being here.
Good evening.
Let's see. We have Fart Sack Jack says, yo, yo, yo.
Yo, yo, yo.
Beard Picker says, Bard remembers John, probably thinks his dude can't sell anything on eBay. Well, you know, here's the thing. That's the beauty. If you're an everything seller 10 years ago, it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult. No Google Lens, no AI to kind of help you with item specifics. Now, 10 years ago, they didn't have item specifics. I get that. But my point is that the technology today gives you so many more tools that you can use, and it's only going to get more involved. You're going to get more tools at your disposal. You're going to have tools that you're going to be able to access where it's going to do all the work for you. You just take a photo of it. It's going to tell you, you know, what the average price of the item is and what you should be buying it for. I'm certain of something like that is going to be invented by somebody. Lawrence Trombley says, I bought some stuff on eBay on some, but not all sellers. It said no negative feedback for this seller till after 7 days. How do I get on that list? Well, that's kind of what eBay does. They give you a sort of a cooling off period that they don't want you to leave. Now, I believe there's a way to leave it. It tells the buyer that give it 7 days, contact the seller, that type of thing. And I'm kind of happy with that. I would prefer the buyer just to sleep on it. I would prefer the buyer to try to work it out with the seller. So many negative feedbacks are like, wow, this is the first I'm hearing of it. And you reach out to the buyer, you resolve their situation, and then they're more willing to work with you. So I think that's actually a good thing. Sammy Hall's with us. Says, hello, John and Jenna in chat. Thanks for being here, Sammy.
Hi, Sammy.
Landshark Picker says only YouTubers rely on yard sales. Yeah. The videos, I think a lot of, I need to find this item to ship, or I need to find this item to buy to resell, those videos. And then there's some bits, little nuggets in the videos. I think it's done more to extend the watch time. So they pull you in with the catchy title, right? Like, I learned from this buy or whatever. I'll never make this mistake again, or everyone wants to find this item, and they just string it along. And I get it. It's part of the game on YouTube. But for me, I just have never been able to do that. I just try to get to the point when I can. That's not talking about my intro or anything like that. But once I get past that, I try to get to the meat and potatoes of the conversation. Guy Guru says, I do high bid a lot more during winter to offset yard sale sourcing. Something to look into, high bid, huh? Henri Squaw says, I just can't do the one-day handling. They usually get it, but I can't handle the pressure. And that's, I think, one thing you can do to get uncomfortable. And we've said this before, maybe it's hard for you to do, right? But I think if you just get yourself in that mode, you find things where you can improve your business that is not easy. I think you're going to benefit from that in the long run. That's just my opinion. Of course, do what you want to do on that. But I think the fewer days you have in place, it's telling the buyer they're going to get it faster. And this generation of buyers, people want it tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I'm one of them. I will actually pay more to get it tomorrow than to get it next week.
Yep.
Belinda says, I just got a sale. Woohoo. Hit the like button. Yes. Hit the like button. Thomas says, people with basements like me, I have 2 dehumidifiers and 2 air purifiers. So I can tell you that
we don't need nothing about dehumidifying here, let me tell you.
So Tyler moved to Texas, and he's like, I cannot believe the humidity out here. It's like killing me.
Yeah.
And I know it'll just take your breath away.
Yeah.
Patricia says, I'm so far in the boonies that I get USPS pickup, but they sometimes miss my packages. That's why 2 a day.
2 day.
2 day, yeah. Drain the Swamp says, I was going to leave a message on one of your videos, but you were live. Did you see the college student that was scamming retail $3.5 million worth? Steve Leto channel last video. I have to check that out. It doesn't surprise me, but the idea that people are, you see that on Amazon all the time, where people will, I think one person actually was weighing sand and putting it in the box so that when they returned it, it was the same weight. And of course, they kept the actual item they received and resold it online. I think it just foolish to think that you're going to get away with things like that. I mean, you may make a good chunk of change, but over time, after a while, you're going to get found out.
Yeah, it's going to, everybody gets found out eventually.
Lissa says, here on the East Coast, you always have to have a dehumidifier running in the basement. Mine is 24/7 and it's raining. Grew up, everyone had at least one always on. So that's the thing on the West Coast. We don't have a basement.
We don't even have basements. We have no humidity.
Urethra says, I'm so antisocial. I get a seasonal retail job every year around the holidays. Sorry, can't make it. You know us retail slaves. Beard says, John's father-in-law is practicing if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. I think that's probably what it is. That's probably what it is. And this year for
so what are you going to do to make him talk this year?
Oh, I'm not going to try. I'm going to just keep myself busy because this year is going to be even more quiet for other reasons. And I'm not going to get into that. Maya says, I mean, my dehumidifier is still on, but it isn't doing much. I'll talk to you about it later. You already know why.
I really don't.
Landshark Picker says, I want to get a humidifier and a dehumidifier and put them in the same room. See which one wins.
That would be interesting. Humidifier, dehumidifier in the same room.
Words of the day. Shit show. Yes.
That's us. Shit show.
Carla Carmichael says, pricing is the hardest thing to do for me because it has to be a fair price for the buyer and for me as a seller. Otherwise, my profit margin goes out the window.
That's why it's super, super important to do comps.
Yeah, and it's super important to buy as low as you can.
Yes.
That is, I don't care. Everything else, throw it out the window.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to come in with a subpar listing, you know, if you want to do just wing it when you're listing and doing, you know, have 3 days handling. If you can source really well, you can offer the best prices with crappy listings and or take really, really low offers and make money. You know, I took a low offer where I was in the item for like $5 and I still made 15x on a low ball offer. I was pricing it at market, but I took an offer. I could have countered, right? But I was like, you know what? Let's get this sale. Let's flip it. Especially, anybody feel the same way? You're having a slow day. You get a subpar offer and you kind of feel like, you know what? Normally I probably would counter here, but I'm going to take it just to get things, kick off some sales. And I know there's probably no correlation to that, but it's.
I don't have that problem.
Yeah, because there's one sale in a day. Noah Design says, if John takes his hat off, I want my super chat back. Well, you know what? I'll go to your channel and I'll super chat you on your live. Tommy says, John's father-in-law dreads the yearly promoted listing shakedown. Yeah. What are you promoting? Urethra says, see that info right there is where ROAS is useful. It shows an equivalent to about 30% conversion and helps determine if the point per click or offsite ads are worth it. If you set your own percentage, ROAS is merely a reflection of that. Our return on ad spends equals 100/promoted listing rate. I'm not sure if it's that easy.
They were talking about 100% or that person that commented.
No. This is just the equation I think Biff is coming up with. So if I have a 10% promoted listing rate and you say 100 divided by 10 is 10, and that's what I'm going to have. You may get a close number, but again, if you're promoting at 10% and your sales suck, your ROAS is going to be lower, much lower than that. Let's see. I agree. YouTube Premium or nothing. I think that's definitely the way to go.
Yeah, they're saying Scott said and Tommy said it's $22 for a family plan.
That's where we got to go. YouTube Family Plan is $22.99. You get 6 accounts.
There you go. Tommy and Beard are spending John's money again.
So right now I'm paying like $16 a month or whatever.
Well, you might as well do the 22 and get me some.
Ping says, I have no ad blockers. Work great. Recently, YouTube stated I have to unload them in order to watch YouTube videos. I refuse to pay $7.99 a month not to see ads. This is more than that, Ping. It is more. Oh, are you talking about your ad blocker, $79.99 a month, or premium is like I think
$22.99.
No, premium for one account. I think it's like $16.99 or $17.99 or something like that. Jerry says, John, your sound gets louder and gets quieter. Need to adjust my speakers. I know we had talked about that, but don't know what's causing that. Beard is ready for his live in a half an hour at 7 Central. And
7 Central, does that mean
that's in 30 minutes?
5.
Wherever you're at. Doesn't matter. Wherever you're at in 30 minutes. Let's make it easy. Richard says, just my luck with this chicken talk that I'm having some sesame chicken for dinner tonight. I'm not so hungry anymore. Tommy, in response to his ranking of 13th, says, I was at number 3 for a long time, but my wife told me I can stay at number 3 or stay married, so I'm number 13 now.
I guess he'd rather stay married.
Beard says, John wants to talk to new faces, so he's saying that he is tired of us regulars. I just want new faces to pop in. And, here's the thing. I always wonder, we have the same cast of characters that we love and we look forward to. But I always wonder how many people absolutely enjoy the show and maybe are screaming at their screen when I say something wrong or whatever, and would, for whatever reason, they're not chatting. But if they were chatting, we'd just be nice to know they're out there. I'm sure there's people who watch the shows that don't.
You'll get to it.
Urethra says we're going to need a lot of mouth to mouth with all this chicken choking going on tonight. Jeez. You're turning in this to the wrong channel here. Patricia says, don't look equals tank your conversation.
You did it first.
I was just talking about what I bought. You guys took it somewhere else. Tommy says, but on a serious note, I bought land, building a warehouse, then we'll train 3 to 4 people over the year to do the mindless work.
That's nice. I would love
That's awesome if you've done that. If you can take on the overhead that you've now introduced into your business model and make it worth it, and I guess that would allow you to expand your operation. So want to know how that works out for you. 3 Picky Peas says, been watching here for several months. Look forward to my cha-ching weekly after hitting that like button. Thanks for keeping it real, guys. Awesome. Thank you for being here.
You're so welcome.
3 Picky Peas. In a pod or without the pod?
3 Picky Peas in a pod.
Sammy says, chicken choker isn't anything without a baster. What are we doing, guys? Blithering Rando says, I hope this thumbs up works. Q4 has been very choppy and underperforming so far for me. It's like things slowed down for Q4 in my neck of the woods. I just don't think Q4. Look, you got
Q4
Amazon.
Q4 is just not like it's not like previous years.
But Ed Hustle and Grow put out a little community post that, and I wasn't aware of it, but I think Walmart, Amazon, all the retailers are sort of downplaying the success of Q4. I think eBay as well. And so what does that tell us? That we should temper our expectations with our own sales. He's naming his warehouse the Crackhead Corral.
Yes. At least they'll all be one place.
Says, no crackhead inside. You guys. Jovial says, Jenna, while you're linking, will you post a link to Bearded's channel? Thanks.
I did put one in there. Okay. I hope you saw it.
Grumpy Granny. There she is. Now, is that with the coloring in her hair? No, that's not.
Her curlers, okay. Not coloring.
Hello, she had colors in her hair the last time she was on Beard's channel.
Oh, I don't get up that early.
What do you mean that early? He has a live on Friday night. She was on the last Friday night one. We're gonna see it in a half an hour or less than that. No one designs.
She had a hat on.
No, she did not. I didn't see her.
I have no.
She had her colorful hair. On the show. I remember that. No one designs says, Jenna, I forgot the name brand, but can you find the spray they use at the bowling alley to disinfect and eliminate odor? I know what you're talking about because I've been bowling almost all my life. But
spray they use it to disinfect them.
All right. Let's see who else we have here. Maya says, now I know what BART is. This whole time I had no idea and didn't bother to ask. Well, I'm glad you asked. No such thing as a bad question.
That's how we started our relationship.
Guide Guru says, I had a chance. I once had a pair of shoes that absolutely reeked of tobacco. I stuffed it full of dryer sheets for a few weeks and it smelled great. I still mentioned the tobacco smell and listing to be safe, though. What else do we have? Vintage Vonnie. Thanks for being here.
You already said.
I know, but I'm going down the list. Grumpy Granny says, like a bull in a china shop.
That's right. That's John.
Andre Squaw says, tell me more about plastic wrapping shoes. I'm not going to go into it much, but get like 3 of these rolls for like $30 on Amazon. And you get the wider ones. And you just wrap your shoes, and that way you put them in a bin, and they're not all over the place. You're not missing one, you know?
Yeah.
John Gaynor says, hi, Jen and John. Great show with a lot of laughs. All the best from the East Coast. Awesome. Well, thanks for being here.
Hi, John.
And we have a special guest. He's lurking, and that's Pete. How's things going on, District, Pete? We're checking in on that. Let's see. Empty Nesting 2, aka Maria. Hi, everyone.
Maria!
And Maya says, I would block and let the offer expire instead. Sometimes when I actually decline these people, they go up and find my listing on my other platforms or other. They just think I'm not responsive. You know, I was telling Jenna, if I would have blocked this guy, I wouldn't have got the sale. He wouldn't have come back. Something changed his mind. You know, maybe he figured, you know what? No one's taking my low ball offers. He did come back with a $40 counter offer. I'll go ahead and accept it. And then when I realized that, wow, that's why, you know, he was probably lowballing me in the first place to offset the very, very high shipping, it made sense to me. And of course, I was willing to say, look, this is why I made a mistake. Here's your money back for the difference, and close to the difference. Let's see. Grumpy Granny says, I'm really loving the eBay Power Hour podcast. Stellar stuff. Well, thank you. We have another episode, of course, launching in the morning. And it's one where Josh has put me on the hot seat. He has a bunch of questions that, of course, I didn't know before. And it led to pretty good conversation. So hopefully you guys will tune in for that. Blithering Rando says, I almost always ship next day. That expectation is a bit much. The SHIT happens, so I do 2 days because there could be kids. I don't want them saying I learned this word on YouTube
from John.
Yes, it happens. So do 2 day shipping and get good reviews for shipping speed. Bottom line is, if you're a buyer, they'll see a range based on your 2 day shipping. If you fulfill that, the buyer's happy with that, then more power to you. What I'm saying is, you may be missing on some sales where people like me will say, you know what, there's 2 items here that fill my need. I'm going to go with this other one because I'm going to get it faster. I just want you to consider that because there are people like me out there. Let's see.
Exactly.
Texan Mechanics says this year is the worst year for selling. For a lot of people, it has been. For me, I had to make a big change. Otherwise, it would have been worse than last year. And last year was really bad. Grumpy Granny says nothing like a good shit show. Here it is. I said it. We Aussies love a show.
We love them.
Yes.
It's our life is a show.
Rando says I took an offer of $40 on a $60 price music CD. Such a specialized item. I figured this is my chance. Yeah, I mean, unless you're waiting for that unicorn, you know, that money, I don't know how much you were into it for, but you could take that money and go out and find the next one. Rosie Games says, hi, John and Jenna. Hope you're both well. Keep up the great videos, you two. Well, thank you. Thank you guys for being here. You have Roman. Scott, I drove today and almost fell asleep.
Oh,
ooh, well,
no.
We don't want that. I've been there, done that. Have you ever driven somewhere?
I've done that.
Yes, she has. Have you ever been somewhere?
And I'm lucky to be alive.
I didn't know her then, but that was her story, and she was sticking to it when she met me. So We'll just go with it. But
What's that supposed
it's just
to
a
say?
stupid thing.
That was
Anyway,
dumb.
it is. But have you ever driven somewhere and like got to your destination and went, I don't even remember
They
the
call
last
they
20
call
minutes.
that they call that something I can't recall. Oh, 3 Picky Peas says we have peacocks.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love peacocks.
Brian H says, signing on from Reno, Nevada. I've been here since the beginning of the show, but just now speaking up.
Well,
awesome.
hello.
Thanks for being here. Glad to see you. But you've been on here before many times, so keep coming back. Roman says it just doesn't have energy. You need to go to Delaware and buy all shoes from Tommy's supplier. Tommy says, I have 300 in my car, Roman. You can grab the other 300 down there waiting for me. I don't doubt that at all. Colored hair or hat? I think you should go with the hat because I haven't seen you with the colored. I've seen you with the colored hair. Haven't seen you with the hat.
I have.
Yeah.
And in the
and is that
curlers.
isn't that, okay? So it might be the curlers.
I think
but it
you're
looked
just
like
not looking.
It looked like it was the actual. You had colored your hair different colors. I don't know. Rain says, just subscribe to the Bearded Picker and the Nice Guy Sonny you had on a few days ago. Like that you share the channels. You guys are great. Yeah, I believe in it. Joe from the Crazy New York Driver channel, he really made an impression on me by doing that out of the blue. He didn't have to do that for my channel. He tried to do it for one other channel before that. And I guess the guy stopped making videos and he was, on the fence of doing that. And he took a chance and here we are. We're at almost 22,000 subs. So let's see. Patricia says, sometimes wiping tobacco stinky things with soap and water remove the film on the surface from smoke.
Interesting.
Biff Boffo says, bingo, return on ad spend equals 100 divided by 85 equals 8.5 equals 11.76. That may be what you're saying.
When you start doing all that,
that's a power hour type.
That's when I zone out.
Chris Carlton says, I think there's something majorly wrong with the search. Tried to figure the sell-through rate on some jeans, put in the brand/model name and waist inseam, and with 400 results of all model size. It'll give you what eBay believes is an approximate search. So if it can't fulfill the exact words of the search, which it tries to do, and then it goes into, close matches, AI isn't there yet. It's going to get better as the technology advances and, it's learning through photos, through recent searches and things like that. Who else do we have here? How far am I behind? Not all that far. I'm pretty good. I've done a good job today, I think. Noah Design says, after all the chicken choking and master, you are all worrying about kids.
Exactly.
Okay, this is nothing different than a Disney movie where they have all these adult-oriented things that they refer to, but people bring their kids anyway, right?
Yeah.
I am 100% right on that. Biff says, I promoted at 2% for 3 days and my ROAS was pushing 50. Showgirls around the world.
Why would you go there?
I don't know. I'm just clicking on. Okay, I don't know. You know the comments before I do. Biff says the idea that you can increase promoted listing and increase ROAS is the same time as not mathematically possible.
At the same time.
But this is what we're hearing on podcasts. I've never said that. I never said if you increase your promoted listing rates, you'll increase your return on ad spend. I've said the opposite. My ROAS went down 3% from 12.5 when I decided that I was going to try to see what would happen if I just did the suggested rate, just to see what would happen. And my sales didn't go up at all, and my ROAS plummeted to 9.5%. And I went back to 10%, and I'm slowly bringing it down. As long as it doesn't hurt my sales, then I'm going to I'm going to find that right number for me. But maybe Josh said something, but I don't recall ever saying anything. And if I misspoke, then my apologies on that. But that's not what happened with me. Tommy said, yes, exactly. But it don't matter either way. If the promoted sales is garbage, I can promote 2% for 5 sales or 10% for 200 sales. Yeah, and you can't promote your way out of a bad item. If you have crap, you can promote all you want. I think I proved that on a small level.
Fact.
With the crap I was trying to promote at 100%.
Biff said, to be fair, it wasn't you, John.
Okay. Grumpy Granny says, I was falling asleep listening to the Disgruntled Octopus talk when we were recording the latest episode of our podcast. True story. You know, but what you're never going to know is how many times has the Disgruntled Octopus fallen asleep while you were talking.
Yes.
Because you can't tell.
Really can't tell.
That's right. So
that is
he probably doesn't feel bad. Probably's got a lot.
He probably just kept
time.
talking.
Patricia says, Biff, just give up. They can't hear you. Oh, I hear Biff. I hear Biff. But see, here's the thing. You can't compare Biff's store to what I do. You can't compare what I do to what Tommy does. But I think a lot of times we get stuck into what we do. And that is gospel. That is it. This is it. This is the way. Because it happened to me. It has to happen this way for someone else. And I think that's very short-sighted. The advantage that I have with this channel that a lot of you guys don't have is I get to see a lot of emails and comments that are, you know, asking me questions. Hey, I'm promoting at this. I'm selling this. Can you look at my store? And you see a lot of different results. And there's, like you've said before, Patricia, it's much more than just your promoted listing rates, which is why I thought it was very important for this topic. May not be a popular one. Normally we have like 200 people. When I started talking about promoted listings and stuff like that, we get a ton of people watching. We only have about 140, 150 people. It's not a very popular thing to talk about getting back to the basics. Yeah. But I think that with promoted listings is being weighted a little bit more than it ever has. Everything else matters. I've seen you talk about that many times before, but I definitely do hear it. I just can't see, you know, if Biff is selling postcards or ephemera, I don't have that experience. I don't know what drives his sales because I don't sell that kind of an item. And I doubt he's recently sold many toilet seats. So it's really hard to compare apples to oranges. Let's see. And that's not throwing shade at Biff at all. Biff does well with what he does. That's just, it's comparing two different people's experiences and expecting it to mesh up, and it just doesn't.
Sandra's here.
Where?
Sandra Hoyer.
Okay.
Hi, Sandra.
Better late than never. Well, thank you for being here. And Maya says, John, I used to do that consistently and also drive out and forget where I'm going and how to get there. One of the reasons I just quit my night shift job, I'm constantly falling asleep.
Ooh, that's not good.
Many times I drive to work 9 to 5 and I'm like, I don't remember the last 10 minutes of this drive.
They call it like your subconscious something.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's weird.
Grumpy Granny says, sharing other channels is fabulous. There's plenty of room for all of us, even Octo.
That's right. So if you're inclined to do so, don't forget to check out the Disgruntled Octopus channel.
Let's see. Now, actually, Biff says ROS shouldn't mean anything to anyone. It's a dumb number. And then Patricia says, for the same reason I kept saying, read the patents, don't guess. But the patents won't give you proprietary information. Nobody here, and you know what? I'll give $1,000 to someone who can tell me specifically 100% that they have the algorithm figured out. It's funny. People will come on to the channels. I'm fired up about this because everyone seems to think they have it 100% figured out to the T. Not guessing, because there is some guesswork involved in what anyone says. You can look at a patent and it's only going to give you enough information to form a conclusion. That conclusion may not be 100% accurate. And there's nothing wrong with reading patents. There isn't. But there's nothing wrong with not reading them either. Now, if I came on here and said, look, guys, I know exactly what this is. There is no other way. You cannot succeed unless you follow me. Then guess what? I'd better have read those patents. I'd better be up on to everything that's going on with eBay eBay innovations, everything. I need to know everything to be able to make that statement. That's why I kind of feel bad in that I'm not an expert on the power hour. I can only give my perspective as someone who's been doing this as a reseller full time for the last going on now 5 years, 4 years, 5 years. It'll be 5 years next year. Wow, it's gone by fast.
Okay.
And so for me, it's just, I'm not trying to be an expert here. I'm just trying to give you what works for me. The algorithm works differently for different items from what I've seen. And that's just all I can say. Not that I'm not listening, not that I'm not trying to look at that information. I'm trying to run a business when we're not doing these videos. And that's what's important to me. And I'm not trying to come off upset. I'm fired up by it because you see a lot of people.
But they were saying it's not, John, we weren't talking about the algorithm.
Okay, but it's, okay, well, I'll get to that comment here. Philippe Silva, USA, says, I watched the video on Steve Leto channel. The scammer got into the company tracking and modified it to item not delivered, then keep the money and item. So if you're able to show in the tracking that it wasn't delivered, whether someone hacked into that or not, eBay is going to look at that. The system's going to look at that. If you get an item that is scanned wrong, the carrier will scan it as instead of they received the package, they scan it as a delivery. It's going to go in and screw everything up. And eBay goes by that. But thank you for the super chat. I certainly appreciate it. There's some very, very interesting scammers that are out there. Thankfully, they're few and far between. Yeah. That's for sure. Roman says, when AI will take over the world finally, all cars will drive themselves so you can sleep. People do that already. There's videos out there. Mm-hmm. Patricia said, John, we weren't talking about the algorithm. The algorithm's changed since the podcast started, but we're talking about different metrics, and the algorithm has the promoted listings is a big part of the algorithm ranking items in best match search. It all goes together. It's a subject that I really wish that I knew everything about. I would love to be that one guy that can say I can answer all of the questions. I can understand why Biff does well here and I can't do it. He does well without promoting. I don't do well with promoting. Why does that happen? I can't answer those questions. It's very, very frustrating. But it's equally as frustrating when you come across channels that will tell you pretty much that this is the way and there is no other way. You don't see them as much anymore, but it's
because nobody has all the answers.
But some people feel like they do because they're doing well with this formula and they expect it to be ported over to this particular seller when they're doing different things and selling different things.
They were talking about the math, not.
But the math, well, the math is different. I don't know if that math is spot on at all.
But how is the math different?
Because the math is looking at your own account.
I thought math was math.
If you're looking at ROAS and how it translates into the promoted listing, how much money you're getting out of your ad spend, it could be a different ratio. You could apply that ratio to someone else and be way off. That's just because you don't know if someone's being successful with their ad spend. They're trying to promote their way out of crap. They have crap listed. They're trying to promote it 5%, yet they're only getting a 5% ROAS or 5%, but like a 5.5 ROAS. That wouldn't fall in line with the promoted listing ratio because they're trying to promote crap. Beards is classic. John is ranting on a topic that is not right. LOL. Any Ohio State fans in here?
They're trying to help you move along.
I know. Name change this and now was Scream NRC. Hello.
Oh,
okay. Thanks for being here.
Well, hey. Cool picture.
Thomas says, no one has it 100% figured out. eBay doesn't have it figured out. We know that what it looks for and percentages, but that's a general overview. But what do we base that on? We base it on mostly what? Our own experiences. If we were presented with the task of running Susie Q's store over here, of just whatever she's selling, it may be a totally different story by the time you're done working on that account. I don't know. Algorithmia. Yes, I agree.
That's what I hear when they start talking that
1
way.
+ 1 = 3. eBay thinking, did I win the 1,000? No, you missed it by 0.1. Sorry. Craigslist Hunter says, I only sell used toilet seats. Zero competition. Algorithm loves it. They sell like hotcakes.
Yes, they do.
No used toilet seats here. No used toilet seats here. Donna says, implicit memory on not remembering driving or whatnot.
Yeah. Implicit memory.
And then Guy Greer says, Pete comes in with a joke. Even great episode, guys. LOL. Thrifty Loon says, John, I'm in need of a shower chair. No joke. LOL. I think we sold one, but that's the last one we have. You can always check my store if you want, but I think we sold the last one.
Or email us.
Sonny is with us.
Sonny!
Thanks for hanging out with us, Sonny. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. Anytime Pictures says, use toilet seats that were graded sell even better. Yes, a 10 mint will sell better, but you have a hard time getting the case on those things. Tommy says it could weigh each item specific differently for all we knew. We just know as a whole, it's part of the calculation.
Yes.
And that's the thing, you want to be able to make sure that you're doing everything right. What weight does a good title, what weight does every additional picture over the 5 that they're saying have on your best match search in the algorithm? I mean, these are all proprietary things, but yet we're left guessing about it. And unfortunately, people want answers, and it's just not answers that, we can give you. Even on the Power Hour or any of these podcasts or channels, we just can't give you the exact answer. Scored today at a sale, 1981 He-Man action figure. I remember those. I had those. Well, the ones with the squishy heads. Maya says, I had the wrong delivery scan happen multiple times on Mercari using FedEx Smart Post. I would drop it off, and they immediately scanned it, delivered. I had to stop using them. Yeah, happens. Patricia says, calculating ROS is a formula. Yes, calculating ROAS is a formula. But I think maybe I was just misreading the comment or whatever. But the result of that formula is going to change from seller to seller. It's not constant. You can't say if you promote it 10%, you're going to end up with this ROAS. Let's see. Maya says, I would drop them off at FedEx store. Then when they're picked up from FedEx store, they're getting delivered instead of picked up. Yeah. And it messes everything up when that happens. Grumpy Granny says, I'm experimenting at present. Initially, I was going to do a nuclear reset, but we currently have a promotion with 30% fees. So I'm testing the effect of editing every listing daily versus ending and sell similar. Yeah. You always got to be, changing things, right? That's, until you find something that really works.
Yeah.
I'm not reading the right. I get fired up. I'm not upset at anyone. No, I'm not trying to frustrate you either. It's just the way I felt about that. I don't want to go into it, but I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm not trying to upset you. Let's see who else we have here. I think, because I want to get ready for beards. Here's Craigslist Hunter says, I got answers for everything. Just send me 35, 30. No, it's $39.99.
It's $39.95. Don't short yourself.
History Seeker says, mainly sell sports cards. And when you buy lots to sell, hits you get from boxes still don't cover the cost unless you hit a case hit. The problem with reselling is finding inventory to sell for profit. Yeah, that is true. Let's see. So we can get into all the ins and outs of this, that, and the other thing, but I want to get to setting up Beards live. He's going live in literally like 2 minutes. So look, guys, I'm never going to have all the answers. And in fact, I may misinterpret what you say and some of your comments, and it's not done intentionally. The idea isn't to upset anyone. Patricia, I apologize if I upset you, but I feel very strongly about some of the things that we talk about. And in my own defense, it sometimes feels like we're getting kind of hammered on in the comments, and we appreciate your feedback. but it is what it is. We put ourselves out here. We put the channel out. We put we ask you for your feedback, and I guess I'm not getting your honest answer. I guess it's not what I want. So I appreciate you guys doing that. Don't forget to hit the Power Hour podcast in the morning. We put it out at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, and want your guys' feedback on that as well. But let's head on over. We got 20 seconds. Head on over to Beard's channel and let's continue the conversation over there. But doing the basics, something eBay wants you to do. But yet it's just another example of how flipping ain't easy. And have a great rest of your day and have an excellent weekend, guys.
Bye, guys. We love you.
Take care, everyone.